Hey guys, welcome to 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒻𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 Fire from this Pokemon attached with this ability onto our Iron Crown EX for us to do the snipe with Twin Shuttle, hitting 50 damage to any two of our opponent's Pokemon, ignoring weakness, resistance, and any effects on those Pokemon. We also have 3 Iron Valiant EX and 3 Venture Bomb for the ping, along with 4 switches, 2 Future Booster Energy Capsule, 1 Snorlax Doll, and 1 Baby Abra to support Valiant's ability. Next, we've got 3 Squawkabilly EX for the early draw, with 2 Call Bell, 3 Deduction Kit, and 2 Mew EX for further support, 1 Academy at Night, 1 Scoop Up Cyclone, 2 Techno Radar, and 3 Earthen Vessel with 8 Basic Fire and 4 Basic Psychic Energies. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game with Iron Nukes. We got the new Venture Bomb with Iron Valiant and our Crown as well. So Crown's attack, if you guys are not familiar, it has the Twin Shuttle attack that allows you to hit 50 damage to any two of our opponent's Pokemon. Ignoring any effects means that if they have Shaman in play, if they have Articuno doesn't actually block damage though, it blocks effects of attacks but not damage. If they have like 𝑬𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒄 in play as well on the bench, you get to hit Terra Pokemons with your Twin Shuttle. You get to hit anything, including 𝑬𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒄, including Ogerpon, including any Terra or Stellar Pokemons they have on their bench, which is awesome, right? So we're doing Poppy for a first turn snipe. If we go second, we got Squawkabilly as well to draw out our Vessel to help us get the Call Bell for our supporter card. We also have our Techno Radar to basically stack our Tachyon bits so that we get to place enough damage counters to take out 2 Dreepies on the bench or something, you know, something that they need to attack with, that they need to evolve on the next turn, a Hoot, Impidimp, Gible, you know, what have you. Anything that is supposed to evolve into a stage 2 EX, we get to knock them out early with Iron Crown. So first game we're up against Rotom Box with the Gadget Show hitting 30x damage for each tool card they have attached to all of their Pokemon. They got the Revavroom EX to stack on their tool cards by attaching up to 4 copies with this ability onto that single EX Pokemon. They do have to evolve it though, and they need like draw support in addition to that. So consistency is a bit weird just because you need a lot of tool cards in your deck to make the attack work. And since Rotom has low HP, we can actually take it out with our Twin Shuttle. We can make use of that attack for this game, and you'll see that we actually get to play Poppy late game, which isn't ideal, but we had to take out the Snorlax, so might as well play Golden Flame early instead of doing Squawkabilly. We chose to attack with Ho-Oh on our second turn. So first turn we attached 2 energies already. We're choosing to keep the psychic energy in our hand without attaching to the Valiant, just because we could actually use it for another Pokemon. Obviously the Crown, once we're able to bench it, just because we don't have enough cards right now to discard for us to search our deck for the right future Pokemons. We want the Switch, we want the Vessel, we want the psychic energy, we want everything. So I don't really know what to discard here. We're just gonna keep the Techno Radar and play the Vessel right now, discarding the basic Psychic for 2 more fire. Do our first knockout here and draw a single prize card. Ethan's Ho-Oh is charging up for the first blow with Rainbow Burn. Do you guys remember that card? All the Ho-Ohs have turbocharge abilities, but this is the first ever Ho-Oh that doesn't involve multi-type energies. Well, the first ever rule box Ho-Oh, you know? Pretty cool. Trainers, Pokemon at that. But yeah, let's see what they're gonna be up to for this turn. They evolve the EX pretty early. I think they're gonna play Town Store now. They're gonna search the top 7, or is it top 6? I can't remember. Attract customers to search the top couple cards of their deck for a supporter card. They got an Arven, and they're gonna get a tool card. They have a Lucky Helmet in the active, so we should be playing smart. I think we could actually play the Crown on the next turn already. If we hit the bench, we can deny them from drawing cards with that tool, because that is kind of their one of their primary ways of drawing, draw support in addition to the supporter search with Tatsugiri. So we don't want to give them that draw. Even though it's just 2 cards, it could be significant. So never ever underestimate tiny draws, you know? Could we possibly retreat and then do a Poppy? I think it would be a waste of the energy, but I don't think we have any other options here. We actually top deck the Poppy, so that's great. Was about to do another Shining Feathers, but apparently we can actually go ahead and do a 180, sort of a 180, and focus on Snipe on this turn. Alright, we're finally going to play the Radar, discarding the Valiant for another one. We actually are playing 4 copies for this game. Eventually, I decided to cut out the Valiant for another Nest Ball because we didn't actually get the Squawkabilly. We didn't get to play our Squawk and Seize on the first turn because we wanted a Ho-Oh instead. But yeah, now let's do Poppy and start sniping the bench. We could actually target the active as well, but it doesn't do extra damage. Remember, Iron Crown's ability doesn't work on itself. If you have a booster capsule though, you get to hit 20 extra damage on their active Pokemon if you are targeting the active with your Twin Shuttle. So there is a lot to be conscious about while you're playing a Future Box. Especially Iron Crown, you know, it's a bit weak, but it's kind of interesting. Is the only card that allows you to hit Terra Pokemons at this stage of the current format, which is pretty interesting, you know. They got 2 Tatsugiri in play, so hopefully we get the switch on the next turn, or at least a Nest Ball for the Mew. We didn't get the Abra or Snorlax Doll to start with, so we can't actually use Valiant's ability for the first, ping. They don't have the Tatsugiri early anyways. They had the Snorlax, remember? So early ping isn't really necessary for this game. That's why we didn't get the Squawkabilly. We would at least get the Venture Bomb though, right? I don't know. Like if we get the Venture Bomb and a Tails, we don't have Monkey Dory. The reason we're playing Venture Bomb is just to get lucky, you know? You never know. We're not allowed to play Jet Energy for this list though, just because we need the Psychic for both Valiant to attack and also Iron Crown. You can actually choose to play maybe 1 or 2 copies of the Jet or Surfer just to factor in more switches. But we have the Scoop Up Cyclone, so I feel like we should be fine. But that's enough speculation. Let's just focus on what our opponent's about to do. It's important to keep track of what they're doing so you get to anticipate their next move, what they're about to do on the next turn, what they're up to, you know. I'm pretty surprised they're not playing 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑳 though. And I'm kind of curious what A-Spec they're doing as well. Are they playing Unfair Stem? Are they playing, Neutralization Zone for Rotom? Probably Treasure Tracker, you would think, but you never know. They could just pull up a fun combo and play some wild A-Spec like Secret Box. They're doing Snorlax, so they can actually retrieve the leftover from their hand after discarding with the box. So that could be something, but there's not many ways to, mass search the leftover into your hand to basically cluster it on your hand for you to discard. But coming back to the game, we got our switch from the top deck, would you believe it? And we actually get to play the Town Star to search for our booster capsule, and that means we get to target any one of their Pokemons, including their active if we want to, because we can actually knock out their active right now, but might as well they're probably going to put the Tatsugiri with the Lucky Helmet in the active though, so might as well target the bench. I think we should be taking out both the Giri right here. We should not be taking out the Rotom, even though there is a chance of them getting an extra tool card for them to knock out our Iron Crown on the next turn. But then I feel like we should play on the risk, just because if we take out both the Giri, they have 2 less tool cards in play, right? So that means not only that we are denying them the search support and also the draw support. So all we need to do is take out the Rotom and then slowly get enough energy on the Valiant to deal with the Revavroom, or even get our Vessel. We would eventually get Mew or something from the prize card. Eventually slowly charge up our Ho-Oh for the last KO, because Revavroom is actually weak towards fire. But it would be pretty difficult to get another 4 energies, another 4 fire for Ho-Oh to attack with, because we have no Night Stretcher, we got no, you know, rods. We only have that 8 basic fire with Poppy. So if they knock out our Iron Crown, I'm not so sure if we could actually do our second Shining Feathers. Although I do feel pretty confident we can take out their EX with our Iron Valiant, since we have our Booster Capsule, Tachyon Bits, and that one final Iron Crown for the damage boost. So fingers crossed everything goes well. They got no support, but they're doing the stretcher. And hopefully they didn't top deck a supporter card or a tool, because if they do get the tool, we're done for, you know? They just need 30 more damage. They got the free search. Maybe we should have played a stadium card. We couldn't get our academy though, and that's our only stadium for this deck. We have no other stadium cards. We're only playing 1 copy of that thing as well, so it's always a bit risky not playing enough stadiums for your deck, but I chose that just because we are doing Squawkabilly. We are playing on turbo, so we don't really need to care about neutralization zone, just because Iron Crown also gets to cut through that effect, including Mimikyu, Crustle, Sylveon, any safeguard abilities, you know what I mean. We got the Mew and we got Ultra Ball, but we're gonna just attach our tool card, the energy, and bench the Mew. Maybe play the Ultra Ball later in the game. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna end the voice over here because focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye everyone!